Welcome, everybody, to the 17th July Clown Planet Daily Update. Let's get right to it. Benny Netanyahu announced that Israel is going to occupy southern Syria, like they pretty much do all of the Middle East, and then blame others for why other people don't like them. I would have downloaded the video, but it's just him speaking in his common tongue. So it's just him saying, we're going to bomb everyone there. We're going to bomb and take over Syria. Justice Department fires Epstein and Maxwell prosecutor Maureen Comey. Comey is daughter of James Comey, who also worked on the case against Sean Puff Diddy Combs. Donald Trump is trapped, says politics, newrepublic.com. Why the president's usual tactics won't end the Epstein scandal because he's making it worse. As somebody posted, this is his version of Afghanistan. Brandon's Afghanistan is Trump's now Epstein. UK to lower voting age to 16 by next general election or selection, whichever way you want to call it. Again, all these will be underneath in the show notes. Check it out there. I think they're underneath there now. Caroline Levitt, who stopped wearing her cross for some reason, gives Donald Trump health update after president suffered swelling on ankles and bruising on the hands. I think they mentioned what it is right here. It's a chronic disease, a chronic thing. It's nothing, some kind of vein condition, right? A chronic and harmless vein condition. So people were spreading that around. I brought it up a couple days ago or yesterday. I forget which day it was. U.S. deports immigrants from Jamaica, Cuba, and other countries to the African kingdom of Eswatini, and I guess $5 I don't have to. Anybody can point that there on a map. I have no idea where that is. U.S. has sent 5 immigrants. It says were convicted of serious crimes to the African nation of Eswatini. U.S. Department of Homeland Security said an expansion of Trump's administration's large secretive third country deportation program. Secretive, huh? Let's click on that to see if it brings up the secretive part. Trump says he wants to deport the worst of the worst. Government data tells no story. Okay, maybe that was part of it. All right, we'll go back to the AP here. South Sudanese government has declined to say where those men, also described as violent criminals, are after it took custody of them nearly 2 weeks ago. Citizens of Vietnam, Jamaica, Cuba, Yemen, and Laos have been deported to Eswatini. You know, let me see if this brings up to where Eswatini. I know somebody at home is what to know about African Kingdom of Eswatini, where the U.S. sent 5 deportations. Become the largest nation except third world. Here's what we know about there. The king rules supreme. Eswatini is one of the handful of countries that are still absolute monarchs, and the only one in Africa. This means the king has absolute power over government as not just a figurehead or a ceremonial ruler. King Mswati III has ruled Eswatini since 1986, when he turned 18 and was allowed to take his place as the monarch. He can make decisions by decree. He succeeded his father, Sobhuzi II, who died in 1982. He lives in a lavish lifestyle in one of the poorest countries in the world. Criticized for ruling on his government that suppresses political dissent. Figures. The king is reported to have 11 wives and has been a subject of scrutiny for buying luxury cars. His wealth has been estimated between 200 million and 500 million, while the World Bank says more than half of Eswatini's 1.2 million people live on less than $4 a day. This is perfect for the government. I bet he's BFFs. No political parties. Parties were banned by Sobhuzi II in 1973. Some exist now, but they are not allowed to play any role in elections or selections or the political process, or have been reduced to civic society groups. Candidates seeking public office in Eswatini's parliament or senate have to stand as individuals without any party affiliation and are generally approved by traditional leaders loyal to Mswati III. Where is this thing? Anybody have a map? Country was previously known as Switzerland, known as Swaziland, but changed to Eswatini in 2018. They got a brand change after the king announced it should revert to the traditional name of the Swazi language. It was Swaziland when it was under British colonial rule, which ended in 1968. Suffer from HIV. I mean, seriously, I just wanted a map. I mean, that's Anyway, I'll see if I can find one later. Here's that. Okay. DHS faces new pressure over DNA taken from immigrant children. The U.S. government has added the DNA for approximately 133,000 migrant children and teens to a criminal database, which critics say could mean police treat them like. Okay, that I wasn't an idiot for reading that. They just wrote that like that. Which critics say could mean police treat them like suspects indefinitely. Okay. Yeah, I mean, just like anything else, when when your kid is born in a hospital, they take a prick of their foot. And maybe hopefully people stop saying yes to that one too. Army veteran and U.S. citizen arrested in California immigration raid warns, quote, it could happen to anyone. I know Rick and I bring this up many times. A U.S. Army veteran was arrested during an immigration raid at a SoCal marijuana farm last week. Said, by the way, that was a legal farm, by the way, that no one's bringing that up. Said Wednesday he was sprayed with tear gas and pepper spray before being dragged from his vehicle and pinned down by federal agents who arrested him. George Rates, 25, who works as a security guard at Glass House Farms in Camarillo, said he was arriving to work on July 10th when several federal agents surrounded his car and, despite him identifying himself as a U.S. citizen, broke his window, pepper sprayed him, and dragged him out. Off to Russia. Pro-Kremlin figures decry bill criminalizing access to extremist content. Growing chorus of pro-Kremlin figures is speaking out against a proposed law that would impose fines for accessing or searching for online content labeled extremist by Russian authorities. The bill, which was passed in its first reading in the lower house State Duma on Thursday, envisions fines of up to 5,000 rubles, $64, for individuals who knowingly view or search for banned content. It does not specify how such activity would be detected, prompting concerns from experts about increased surveillance and possible abuse of law enforcement. Don't worry, when everyone talked about, Russia being against the World Economic Forum, they are exactly in lockstep with the World Economic Forum and everything they do out there. Man with metal neck chain sucked into MRI on Long Island. Just let you know, if you go into an MRI machine, do not wear metal anything. There was no immediate update on his condition early Thursday, but he was said to be he had been critically injured. The man was in critical condition of being sucked in an MRI machine when he walked into a room where a scan was in process while wearing a metal chain, authorities said. He was wearing a large metallic chain around his neck, causing him to be drawn into the machine. That, police said, resulted in a medical episode. You don't say. No other details were immediately provided. You probably saw this going around today. Coca-Cola. You saw this going around today. The tweet by DJT. I have been speaking to Coca-Cola about using real cane sugar in Coke in the United States, and they have agreed to do so. I'd like to thank all those in authority at Coca-Cola. This will be a very good move for them. You'll see, it's just better. Now, this is a great distraction from the Epstein thing. Everyone, let's look over here at the Coca-Cola thing. Winning. We voted for it. Now, again, yes, the Mexican Cokes are much better. If you ever had those, fantastic. They taste a lot better. A friend of mine brought up, wait till they get back to cocaine in the Coke. But Coca-Cola, according to this, isn't so sure they're giving up fructose for cane sugar. We appreciate Trump's enthusiasm for our products. More details on new and innovative offerings within our Coca-Cola product range will be shared soon. In other words, pay no attention to the fat man in the blue suit. Now, that's not me saying this. This saying it. So again, maybe just they bring up. We appreciate Trump's enthusiasm for our iconic Coca-Cola brand, but they kind of say maybe he got a little over enthusiastic about it. So. Yeah, a lot of noise. Maybe it probably won't happen. I mean, just like closing the FBI, closing CIA, closing income tax, all that stuff. There's been a lot of promises not taken. Robots now grow and repair themselves by consuming parts from other machines. This was by Columbia University School for Engineering and Applied Science. Today, robots are stuck. Their bodies are usually closed systems that can neither grow nor self-repair nor adapt to their environment. Now, scientists at Columbia University have developed robots that can physically grow, heal, and improve themselves by integrating material from their environment or from other robots. Hey, fantastic. We'll get into that T1000 quicker than ever. 8 healthy babies born after IVF using DNA from 3 people. Genetic material from mother and father transferred to a healthy donor egg to reduce risk of life-threatening diseases. Again, all this will be underneath in the show notes. Musk launches AI girlfriend available to 12-year-olds. XAI's Crazy in Love chatbox Annie, designed to engage in not-so-good conversations with users and keep your kids off the internet. Andy Beshear, a Democratic governor in a state Trump won by 30 points, tests a 2028 message in South Carolina. Governor of Kentucky trekked this week to the traditional early presidential primary state, stelling local Democrats on a vision for a bigger, more successful party. They do this every 4 years. Each side does this. Democrats try a new tone, less scripted, more cursing, Trumpier insults. Well, it worked for Trump. Why not? I mean, basically what everyone likes is mean tweets. So you just mean tweet somebody and people will vote for you. Puerto Rico law criminalizes hormone therapy and gender-affirming surgery for transgender people under 21. U.S. military trains to defend Panama Canal from China threat. Now, if you don't know much about the Panama Canal, I brought it up a couple times on other platforms. U.S. government, Teddy Roosevelt, came down to Panama, forced secession of Panama from Colombia. And he brought up this because he hated Jefferson Davis for succeeding, but it's okay when we do it. So he forced secession out of Panama to take Panama. How he did it, he went down there with a bunch of military, killed everyone that was involved that lived on the land, put his own people in there, and then voted for it. So, and then a couple decades later, they sent them like $9 million in a sorry, we took your land check. Brazil's President Lula says Trump was not elected to be emperor of the world as U.S.-Brazil spat escalates. Sometimes there's some people here in the States that need to be reminded of that. It's not even a ruler of the U.S. I mean, if you look at what the president actual powers are, it's very, 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 very limited. I'm talking about extremely limited. Israeli forces strike Catholic Church in Gaza. The Holy Family Church, the only Catholic church in Gaza, was struck by a raid this morning, resulting in 3 deaths and several injuries, including the parish priest, Father Gabriel Romanelli. In a statement, the Latin Patriarch in Jerusalem appeals to leaders, quote, to raise their voices and do all that is necessary in order to stop this tragedy, which is humanly and morally unjustified. As the Cardinal Pizzabella, Latin Patriarch in Jerusalem, earlier spoke to Vatican News, quote, what we know for sure is that a tank, the IDF says by mistake, but we are not sure about this, they hit the church directly, the Church of the Holy Family, the Latin Church, he said. There are 4 people seriously wounded. Among these 4, 2 are very dramatic conditions, and their lives are in serious danger. There are also others injured, but less problematic. Among them, also the parish priest, because they were all inside the church. Now, remember, some have speculated that this was a couple of days ago. We posted there was a big meeting with about 8 leaders, the churches down in the Gaza area, calling for peace and saying, condemning what was been going on, condemning the genocide. And 1 or 2 days later, the church gets hit by a tank. Yeah, I don't think this was a mistake at all, as Pizzabella is thinking the same thing. We're not sure this was a mistake. And as others have said, is if anybody in Israel speaks, they're lying. Sip of death. Putin's soldiers killed in mass poisoning by laced bottles of water in suspected Ukrainian sabotage operation. And a little good news here. Sentenced to 400 years for a crime he didn't commit, Sidney Holmes lost 34 years of his life behind bars to a wrongful conviction. Now he'll receive $1.7 million in compensation, but no amount can repay stolen time. Now he's using that unimaginable pain to advocate for others. Keep going, brother. This Ben Crump, attorney Crump, says. This was in Florida. They gave $1.7 million for it. And just to round this out, dear leader Barack Hussein Obama decided to talk about this.
And that's one of the things that I think a lot of times boys need is not just exposure to one guy.
One dad.
One dad. No matter how good the dad
is. He can't be everything.
He can't be everything. And that boy may need somebody to give the boy some perspective on the dad.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
One of the most valuable things I learned as a guy was I had a gay professor in college at a time when openly gay folks still weren't out of line, who became one of my favorite professors and was a great guy and would call me out when I started saying stuff that was ignorant. You need that to show empathy and kindness. And by the way, you need that person in your friend group so that if you then have a boy who's gay or non-binary or what have you, they have somebody that they can go, okay, I'm not alone in this.
Yeah.
Right. So
apparently boys need gay men to be able to, I don't know. That's, we did that for Clown Planet. Hey, why not have something clownish like that? Yeah, so anyway, don't forget to hit, you know how it is, hit the like, subscribe, all that jazz. Get the algorithms back on our side because literally the views are going down like a rock in a fish tank right now. Ain't nobody seeing anything on there. It's amazing what the numbers are doing. Everything I'm throwing in the kitchen sink is not working right now. So the shadow ban is amazing. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great rest of the day. Rick and I will probably do our News from the Pew live tonight on the News from the Pew channel. God bless and have a great rest of the day.